By far the biggest news this week was the nullification of the election of controversial Nandi Hills legislator Alfred Keter. It has sent shockwaves right across the political landscape. Okay? Reason? Now, you know there are three legislators who have been seen as the major rebels within Jubilee. Yeah, they really excite NASA people. Yeah, Keter, Tiren, and Bowen. All Jubilee legislators. Of course, Silas Tiren represents Moiben. Kagogo Bowen represents Marakwet East. Yeah, and Keter, Nandi Hills. At least now is no longer MP, but can we say the immediate former MP for Nandi Hills? Yeah. Now out of these three, Keter, Tiren, and Bowen, two are out, one to go. Now, of course, Bwana Keter and Bwana Bowen are free to stand in the by-election. However, it's going to be a very huge uphill task for them. Let's start with Bowen. Now, Bowen comes from Marakwet East. Yeah. Now, Marakwet East is also the same place where a very famous woman legislator called Lima Chebi Kelimo is also looking for that seat. Indeed, the Marakwet East election on August 8th was a very bruising affair. Yeah, in the run-up to the election, you remember there were murders, there were alleged, not alleged, people were shot. Yeah, a kid was shot. Yeah, it was a big mess. Not only that, Lina Chebi is extremely popular in Marakwet East. Yeah, and we also have the issue that there's a lot of discontent on the ground, in fact, right across the Rift Valley, concerning the Jubilee government. And therefore, this would put Lina Chebi in pole position to win this seat in the by-election. And what will favor even more is obviously the Jubilee government does not want Bowen to be re-elected. Yeah? Who wants a troublemaker back in parliament? Okay? So when you put all these factors together, Bowen is in serious trouble. Things are not any better for Keter. Yeah, Alfred Keter. He may be popular, but there are huge issues, there are huge obstacles he has to overcome, yeah, in order to make it back to parliament. Number one on his list is what party ticket is he going to stand on? Yeah, what party ticket is he going to vie on? This is politics, okay? Now, if he decides to vie on the Jubilee ticket, they'll have to go for Mchujo. Party nominations, yeah? And we know that party nominations, especially Jubilee party nominations in the Rift Valley, they're a very messy affair. Anything can happen. In fact, the norm is that the election ends with the party nomination. Yeah, because whoever grabs the Jubilee ticket is through. Yeah, that's usually what happens. And so people can do anything to make sure they have the Jubilee ticket. You can easily find that polling station in your stronghold are opening at 4 and closing at 6. And then polling stations in your opponent's strongholds are opening at 6 sharp. In fact, by 4 a.m., people already voting clandestinely. And some people even vote twice. Yeah, these are party nominations. A lot of funny things go on. Yeah. And of course, this cuts right across party lines. Yeah, it's the same with the NASA strongholds. Yeah, and therefore, there's no guarantee that he'll get the Jubilee ticket. Indeed, when soon after the nullification of his election by the Eldoret court, his supporters, many supporters could be heard, yeah, saying that he should just go for a Kanu ticket. And so, it's very far from being a done deal. Yes, anybody who says Keter will easily win and make his way back to parliament, that is not the truth. It's going to be quite a battle for Bwana Alfred Keter. Indeed, his body language suggested fear, yeah, panic. Yes, that's really what it is. But after the nullification of Alfred Keter's election as a member for Nandi Hills, there was something much more interesting that was going down in Eldoret that indeed attracted national attention. And we're going to analyze that after the short upcoming break. See you in a bit. There is one very nagging question we need to ask ourselves. How does a billionaire entrepreneur like Jimmy Wanjigi, suddenly turn into a freedom fighter? What has transformed this man from a wheeler dealer to one of the most visible freedom fighters for a better Kenya today? What is it? Actually, there's a mystery. Things don't happen by accident. There's an explanation. There are details, very sensitive details, which explain everything very neatly so that you understand Jimmy Wanjigi better, so that you understand Jimmy Wanjigi, the freedom fighter, better, and what his motivation really is, what has turned him from what he was to what he is today. Now, all that information is in my latest Club 1999 recording. Become a member of Club 1999 now. The cost is on your screen right now. All you need to do is to send an email, a blank email, to the email address you also see on your screens right now, and you'll be a member within no time, because that email will give you an automated response that will give you payment instructions of what you need to do. Now, this is one recording you really have to catch so that you understand what is unfolding before our very eyes, including the latest very dramatic incident involving Bwana Wanjigi. Welcome back. Now, after the nullification of Alfred Keter's election as a member for Nandi Hills, the crowd that gathered around the court, his supporters, were shouting, "No Keter, no Ruto." What they were really saying is that if Keter is out of parliament, out of elective post, then DP Ruto is also out as far as Rift Valley votes are concerned, insinuating that now their man will be Gideon Moi. Okay? And this seems to have been confirmed by his supporters who are shouting, "Kanu, Kanu," that he should vie on a Kanu ticket, forget about this Jubilee thing. They are also shouting, "Ruto must go, Ruto must go," implying the same thing, that actually the king of the Rift Valley should no longer be Ruto. If they can treat their son Keter like this, then even Ruto they don't want. They did not say who they want, but obviously, no Ruto, then who will step in? Gideon Moi. Now, any serious analyst of the Rift Valley will tell you straight up that Gideon Moi is a non-entity in Rift Valley. That's the first thing they'll tell you. However, in politics, vindubi chenjanga. That means that somebody can grow to be very popular, just because of emotions against the opponent. That's how politics is. And there are many examples I can give, but let me just give one. In 2007, there was a very great anti-Kibaki force and emotion countrywide. Now, this was because Kibaki had come out as being very arrogant during his first term. Then there's also the issue of the constitution, the Ashpalgai constitution, beautiful constitution, which a lot of Kenyans liked, which was just massacred by Kibaki and his cronies, so that the bomber's draft, which came out after the guy constitution, was unrecognizable, if you compared it to the earlier guy draft. Now, the truth is that during Mwai Kibaki's long political career, he had never come out as a populist politician. He was not the kind of guy to attract emotions, provoke emotions amongst his supporters. And politics is all about emotions. And therefore, when he stepped in as president, a lot of these weaknesses in his politics became very clear. So there's a very great major anti-Kibaki emotion. Okay? And how did the voters express that anti-Kibaki emotion? They expressed that emotion by voting for Raila Odinga. So indeed, keen analysts, my apologies to staunch Raila Odinga supporters because they're not like this, but it's the truth. What happened was that people cast a very strong anti-Kibaki vote. And the strong anti-Kibaki vote was voting for Raila. Now, this 2007 politics, I will never forget, and for a very simple reason. It was the first time I had been proved right against my political lecturer. Yeah, it seemed that now the student had come of age. Yeah, the student was challenging the lecturer and getting things right when the lecturer was getting them wrong. My second very sweet victory over my political lecturer was when he said that Hillary Clinton would win the Democratic Party nomination to vie for president over Barack Obama. Now, my political lecturer had been to the States several times, yeah, and there's one incident that stuck out in his mind, which happened, I believe, in the 70s, when he was in New York, and he decided to get a shoe shine, yeah, at that time. So he walked up to this shoe shiner, sat down, and then immediately lifted up his trousers to reveal the black skin. The person shining the shoes turned away. So my political lecturer told me, yeah, his reasoning, yeah, was that there wasn't enough numbers within the Democratic Party, yeah, to give Barack Obama a win for the Democratic Party ticket. Anyway, I digress. So I will never forget the 2007 elections, because what my political lecturer said was that there was no way certain communities were going to vote for Raila. And he gave various examples. He started with the Kamba Nation, which he belonged to, yeah? And he said, there's no way the Kamba people are going to vote for Luo. Then he went down to the coast, and he spoke about a number of communities there who have very strong culture concerning circumcision. My political lecturer told me, gosh, no way, you're dreaming. There's no way Raila can win. Amazingly, he had completely missed the anti-Kibaki venom all over the country. And if he had seen it, to him, the issue of voting for a Luo was still much bigger, yeah, and would supersede everything else and give Kibaki a win. Anyway, back to my point. You see, in politics, a very, very effective strategy, instead of getting the electorate to like you, just get them to hate your opponent. Get them to really hate your opponent. And that one is very effective. Yeah, they'll end up voting, they'll end up casting anti opponent vote. And such a vote is a vote for you. And you win easily. And so what DP Ruto has to be very careful about is that he does not provoke so much emotions in the Rift Valley against him, such that people will be casting an anti-Ruto vote. Yeah, and of course an anti-Ruto vote will go to Gideon Moi. Now, indeed, in the upcoming by-election for Nandi Hills, yeah, this really is going to be the issue. Yeah, Keter will be banking on the anti-Ruto emotions in the area. Yeah, and will probably hope that people hate Ruto enough to vote for him. Yeah, which would seem to suggest that his best bet is to get another ticket outside Jubilee. That's really what it is. Indeed, this should be very clear already, with the supporters singing Yote Yawezekana Bila Ruto. You remember the famous song people were singing when Moi was going out? Yeah, there was in 2002. They were saying Yote Yawezekana Bila Moi. Yote yawezekana bila Moi. Yote yawezekana bila Moi. Yeah, that's the song. Of course, the tune is stolen from a popular gospel chorus. Yeah, and this is what people are singing in Eldoret yesterday in favor of Alfred Keter. The long and short of all this is that what is shaping up in the Rift Valley is major battles and possibly realignments. Yeah, not realignments to favor NASA. That's not impossible, of course. But what is more likely to happen, there'll be realignments to favor the KANU party. Now, keen observers will already know that the Jubilee High Command favors Gideon Moi over DP Ruto. And for the very simple reason, they don't trust DP Ruto. Indeed, the truth is, anywhere in Central Province, the House of Mumbi would rather cast a vote for Gideon Moi any day, yeah, rather than cast a vote for DP Ruto. Okay? Now, of course, the older House of Mumbi people will remember that Moi favored Uhuru Kenyatta to take over from him. He's the person Moi chose as a heir. Yeah? So, they still have a lot of fond feelings for Moi, especially when Moi was leaving power. So if ever Gideon Moi was involved in such an election, campaign in Central Province would be very simple. Just remind people what his father did for them, okay, in choosing Uhuru. Now, the fact that the Jubilee High Command secretly favors Gideon Moi also means that the massive government resources can be put to work in favor of things that will favor Gideon Moi. Yeah, and that includes the intelligence community, that includes dirty tricks behind the scenes, that includes everything that is government machinery to assist Gideon Moi. And this is what would really complicate things, because the question you'd ask is, the Jubilee High Command now will have a question to ask themselves. Do they choose to have their rebel back in parliament simply because he's going to vie on a Kano ticket, assuming he'll vie on a Kano ticket, and because this will favor their man Gideon Moi? Or will they just reject him because they can't stand him back in parliament, a rebel back in parliament causing trouble within the Jubilee fold? That will be quite a question, yeah, and that will be quite something for them to resolve. In my view, I think they'll try and do everything in their power to ensure that Bwana Keter does not get a Kano ticket, okay, so that they're able to dump him, okay. Most probably, they'll push Keter towards standing as an independent, yeah, and if he vies as an independent, things can be twisted around, emotions can be played up with the voters, so that Keter is eased out easily and with minimum damage to the Jubilee fold. All in all, the Marakwet East seat, Bwana Bowen and Lina Chebi Kelimo, is going to be very interesting to watch. Yeah, that by-election is going to be extremely engrossing. Yeah, and very, very fascinating for political analysts. Yeah, and even more fascinating is going to be the Nandi Hills by-election. Yeah, but in Nandi Hills, most of the action will happen in the party nomination stage. Yeah, because that will give us a clear indication of what to expect in the main race. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.